To be honest, spring's been absolutely brilliant. We've basically, you know, we had a few frosts at the early stage, but yeah, not a lot of rain. So for a calf rearer, it's been perfect rearing conditions, to be honest.
If it is colder and a bit of more of a wet spring, do you find that the calves suffer?
We do, yeah. We find that they're obviously in the sheds a lot more than they should be.
Yeah.
And that's where, you know, you do house a lot of bugs. So we are spraying weekly, but if they are housed a lot more, we spray Verfon every twice a week, just to basically keep the bacteria down in the sheds. And never stir the bedding up. We always just basically top the bedding up on top, because if you're stirring the bedding up, you're also stirring a lot of bacteria up if there is bugs there as well. So these cows here are 8 days old, so these are our youngest. Our age starts actually from the day they come in, because you never know, are they 4 days, 5 days, 6 days old when they come in, so we always class them. As soon as they hit our face, it's day one for us. Yeah. And as you can see, we put the neck tags on with the ear tags.
Yeah. So do you reuse them, like season
we
to season?
reuse them from season to season, yeah. And it's just a good way for recording anyone who's who's going well or not going so well.
So I guess when you're feeding them, it's a good time to take notice of their health and...
It is,
yeah.
Yep, because you've got that downtime now of, sort of 4 or 5 minutes while they're feeding. So Jenny's rule of thumb, I'm not sort of standing here in the one spot, you're moving about and you're checking the calves as well.
Not checking Facebook?
No, definitely not, no. Just simply because you can pick up, if anyone's coming off, anyone's starting, you can pick up on those early signs of anyone getting crook.
Yeah.
So the first sign, chewing on the teat or coming off the teat. And always with their ears too, that's another classic sign. The ears should be always perked slightly up, opposed to sort of sitting straight out or down, so that's another sign. And you can check the back of them as well, to see if there's any sort of scars on the back of the legs or things like that. Scouring's not it's quite a hard one to sometimes pick up on as well, because if they lift their tail up high enough and they don't actually scare and hit the back of their legs or the back of their body, it is a hard one to pick up. But the first classic sign, they get the rough coat as though they've just got out of bed, and ears down and really sunken in eyes, like those donut eyes. That is a classic sign. So that's when we give everyone obviously milk in the morning. Depending on how bad they are, they'll get electrolytes at night. But if they are particularly bad, they'll also get electrolytes at lunchtime as well.
Yeah.
We never isolate our calves, which I suppose is something that most people do, isolate their crook calves. I think by the time you pick up on a crook calf, I think it's too late. That's me personally, I think it's actually too late. So we always leave once they're in their groups, that's it, they stay in their groups. And it allows us to concentrate on that group if something's going to happen, rather than move that bug to another shed sort of thing. If we've got a guy now, for example, and if he didn't feed milk or electrolytes, I'd simply tube it to him. So
tube the electrolytes?
Tube the electrolytes or tube the milk, yeah. They've got to have that, we never take a calf off milk 100%, we always leave them on. That's just nutritional food, energy and things like that. So we always keep them on their milk, and we just simply take one off if they don't realise, take one off and quickly tube them behind them.
Right. So electrolyte, why can't you just feed them on just electrolytes?
We find they go quite lethargic. You get that bit of an energy boost obviously after you've given them electrolytes, but they're actually still starving for food as well. They can't just live on like an energy drink. So
there's not enough energy really in electrolyte to keep them going?
I think there is quite good energy at the start.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's, long term they can't stay,
So how important is a good quality electrolyte when it comes to treating sick calves?
Yeah, I think it's pretty important, to be honest. Those guys, obviously once they are sick, they're at their most vulnerable stage. So I don't think you want to be mucking around, to be honest. I think get in there, get the job done properly, and use a brand that has had the R&D, the research and development behind it. I think that's one thing we've always stuck with trusted, like trusted milk powder, trusted feeds, trusted electrolytes, because you start, I suppose for us, we've never we've often thought about making your own electrolyte, but there's just too many recipes out there on the market, and unless you actually know yourself, you don't know whether you're picking the right one. And you just can't afford for that calf to, to stay cropped. You need to get him up and going again.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to electrolytes, it's probably best to leave it to the experts in terms of actually formulating it. So are these a couple of the different options that you go for?
Yeah, these two here are the ones that we sort of bounce between, We've had great success with them. So, sometimes you sort of think, well, why not change, why change really?
Yeah.
And it is important that we do get those guys up and going, and I think picking up on those early signs is the first critical bit.
Yeah.
I think the mortality rate varies quite significant in calf rearing. You can certainly get some big numbers, but I think if you've got healthy calves, for us we probably lose one out of a batch of calves. Around 200-300 calves, we'll lose one.
So what do you put your amazingly low mortality rate down to?
I think it's just experience over years.
Yeah.
And capturing that early crookness very fast and treating it. Don't be afraid to treat early.
Yeah.
Not necessarily always with antibiotics. Could be just a simple nutritional scare. But if no one's going to feed, we're not afraid to tube them reasonably quick. Keep them rehydrated, and they'll bounce back quick. Like we've had some 2 or 3 in here we've had to tube. Health-wise, you'd never notice the difference. Unless I went back through my notebook, you'd pick up on the number, but health-wise, I think the calves they're all on track for 100 kilos and around that sort of 10 to 11 weeks.
I guess one of the first things a calf does when they're not feeling too well is basically stop drinking.
It is.
So it's a bit of a slippery slope from there, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.